Well, which part, though, Skip? I mean, are we talking about the maneuver to get him?
To potentially risk alienating, offending Aaron,
well,
which they did.
They did do that. So yeah. I would say when Ron Wolf was the general manager of Green Bay Packers, Ron Wolf has always felt that you needed to draft a quarterback every single year despite having a starter, no matter what round. Just the depth. You need them because that's a premium.
Yeah.
You can't worry about Aaron Rodgers' feelings at all in drafting Jordan Love. Yes, Jordy Nelson left and Devontae Adams was there, and he felt he needed possibly something else to help them get over the hump.
Yeah.
The front office said, no, we need to find a quarterback that at some point in time, if anything goes wrong with you, injury, whatever the case is, he will be ready to step in and give us a Band-Aid for a short period of time.
Yep.
They didn't draft Jordan Love with the mindset of immediately replacing Aaron Rodgers. That was manufactured through all the media hype and stuff. You're not going to replace a dude that at the time they drafted him, I believe, was a 2 or 3 time MVP at the time that they drafted him, to replace him immediately. It was going to be over time. Yep. The same thing they did when they drafted him and they had Brett Favre. At some point, they're going to move on from you. It's an assembly line in the National Football League. Yep. Somebody gets on, somebody gets off, and they go right around. So at some point in time, it's going to be your time to get off. I think it was a smart decision on their part to go and get a guy that they looked at and said, well, if we draft a quarterback the following year, this kid here is better than the guys that we've already pre-evaluated. So let's give a 4th-round pickup to move up and get him rather than think he's going to land in our laps in the 2nd or 3rd round. Correct. When that couldn't happen. Yep. He sits behind Aaron Rodgers. The world explodes because they move on from Aaron Rodgers, and now all of a sudden everybody says he's not ready. Oh, my God, he can't play. All of the little stuff coming out of Green Bay about his ability, when clearly, if you were paying attention and you really watch football and you watch his development, the little bit of time that he did play, you could see in the Kansas City game, I remember saying, he dropped back and threw 1 or 2 passes. I mean, that dude can play football. Why are they tripping? Agreed. That's just 1 or 2 plays. That's not a 16, 17-game season. Agreed. Over time. Yep. This is his rookie season. I understand he's been in the league, but this is his first time as a starting quarterback. So, therefore, he's a rookie to me. Mm-hmm. He's a first-time starter, rookie quarterback, has never played 17 straight games in his career in the National Football League. But he learned in a lot of his throws, especially against the Dallas Cowboys, and I really, because it was a Dallas Cowboys game and I'm intense watching it with Michael, I'm really watching all sorts of things. And if you took his jersey off and you put 12 on him and you didn't look at the color of his skin and he just threw the football, it would be like, well, that's Aaron Rodgers.
Bingo.
You would literally sit there and go, well, that's...
literally say that was Aaron Rodgers.
That's Aaron Rodgers throwing those balls. Look at him off his back foot. Look at the side throw. That's Aaron Rodgers. The play action, fake, the ball in the belly, the half roll, throwback plays, the Romeo Dobbs, looks like Aaron Rodgers. So I think they got it right. I think he's there to stay. Now, is he going to be a 4-time MVP? I don't think so. That's hard to forecast. Is he going to win a Super Bowl? I don't know. That's hard to forecast. They certainly hope that's the case, okay? They hope that's the case. He's headed in the right direction. He's certainly headed in the right direction, but I don't know that he'll turn out to be Aaron Rodgers, but he's headed in the right direction.
I think he's barreling down the road in the right direction.
He's in the right direction.
I think he's on the way to greatness. And I don't say that very often, but I just love everything I've seen about him from the start. And I defended him here on this show a couple times because even in the games he did not play well, he got better as the game wore on. He was always better, even when they lost at home to Detroit on that Thursday night before we were in Boulder, Colorado to see Dion in Colorado. The 4th quarter, he lit them up and got them back in the game against Detroit. Okay. So everything for me obviously comes all the way back to my Dallas Cowboys, and I'm still raw and reeling from what just happened. So I look at what they did, and you ask me again and again, how are you going to replace Dak? Well, the better question would have been at this point, how are you going to replace Aaron freaking Rodgers? Because he was a 4-time MVP, and yet they were getting their bellies full of him in Green Bay because he's difficult to live with, as you know. And he was alienating a lot of people in the locker room and in the front office. So slowly but surely over the last 5 years, if you look hard at Aaron's last 5 years in Green Bay, he actually lost his 4 of the last 5 playoff games, because I'm counting the one last year against Detroit, the final regular season game, because it was a playoff for the playoffs.
Yeah, to get in.
So you have a home game, and all you have to do is beat your division rival at home. And he stunk in that game, and they lost 20-16 to the Detroit Lions, who didn't make it in the playoffs, but it knocked Green Bay out of the playoffs because Seattle eked in the back door. Okay, so then we go back to 2019 at San Francisco against Richard's 49ers. Aaron stunk in that game. He had a QBR of 23, that scale of 0 to 100. And they got wiped out in that game. And then remember the Tampa Bay home game. They're the 1 seed, and they got it's Aaron's first ever.
Brady got him.
Yeah, he got him. But Aaron played pretty well in that game until it was 1st and goal at the 8, late in the game.
Probably should have ran it in.
He probably should have run. And he misfires 3 straight times. He tried to force to Devontae at the goal line twice when he was like triple covered, and it just didn't work. He airmailed Lazard, I think, on the first throw. So my point was, that wasn't very good. And then they had the 1 seed again. It was very cold. But remember, Jimmy G in San Francisco went in there in their first home
Jimmy G
game.
made 1 or 2 throws.
Made 1 or 2, and that was all that it took. And it was 13-10 visiting team. He had another QBR of 23 in that game. And then I mentioned the Detroit game. So Green Bay is just saying, wait a second. He's more trouble than he's worth. But it took guts, because he is Aaron Rodgers. But it took guts to say, are we really going to go forward with this kid? And they said yes.
Well, they have more information than
they
the
had more.
outsiders.
They did, but they didn't have that much game information. But they had a whole lot of practice information.
You could tell based on practice habits, based on film study, that a guy that you're around every single day is capable of playing in a football game.
And you can tell what his scout teammates are saying.
Yeah.
The kid can play.
Well, you can see it.
You could just see it. So they go forward and look at him now, because I'm going to say it again. Last 9 games, 22 touchdown passes to 1 pick. I mean, that's a body of work to me.
Yeah.
That's not 2 or 3 blip games, right?
Absolutely.
It's not, I hit a hot streak. That looks credible to me. And all of a sudden, you're talking, you just said it. If I put 12 on him, he looks like Aaron Rodgers.
He looks like Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, this is his first year starting, and he went into Dallas, Texas, and did that to that team whose defense...
Not my problem.
I know, it's not your problem, but you saw it with your own 2 eyes. And in the break before we came on, we were both looking at the highlight throws, and the couple to Romeo. I'm just saying, that's just too good. You know, did he not look better than Dak Prescott did in that game?
Yeah.
Sure, he did.
Absolutely. So what you want him to do, trade him for that?
I want Jordan to be a Dallas Cowboy.
I don't think they want Dak.
But
Why would they do that?
I'm thinking about flipping bandwagons and jumping on the Green Bay
So
bandwagon.
are you saying that you want the Dallas Cowboys to do what the Green Bay Packers did
I wanted
to Aaron
this
Rodgers?
3 years ago to take a plunge. You got to have the vision.
Aaron Rodgers is 40 damn years old.
Okay,
Skip.
but he was.
Dak Prescott is not 40.
Okay, but when they decided to trade him to the Jets, a lot of people are saying, seriously? You're going to go forward with this kid?
But you just said it. You got a lot of internal issues, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Talking wild to the front office.
Talking wild.
Holding out and saying you don't know what you want to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to go in a cave and I'll let you know when I come. All of those sort of stuff.
Ayahuasca.
Just all of that. At some point, you wear out your welcome.
You do.
Dak Prescott has not worn out his welcome in my eyes to the Dallas Cowboys.
He never will.
On top of that, they acquired Trey Lance. Just in case 3 years from now, they need to go in another direction or whatever the case is.
I'm glad you brought him up.
It's not today.
You know, there was
today.
a reason that Kyle and Mike Shanahan decided to trade 3 first-round picks, what was it, a second and a third, to trade up for Trey Lance?
Yes, because they thought he would be good. for what they wanted to do.
Are we
they
saying
just
they were
seen,
dead wrong?
In their eyes, they were wrong. In their eyes.
Yeah, but somebody fell out of heaven into their lap just the way Brady fell into Belichick.
Who?
Kid named Brock Purdy, the last pick in the draft.
I get he's playing well, but when they drafted Trey Lance, when they drafted Trey Lance and they traded all those picks to go up and get him, they thought he was going to be the answer.
Okay.
And then they realized he doesn't give us what we're looking for. And they draft Brock Purdy as Mr. Irrelevant, who gave them something, so they moved on from a mistake. They moved on from a mistake. They made a mistake.
So you think they made a big mistake?
For what they want to do with Trey Lance, they made a big mistake.
Okay.
For what they wanted to do with Trey Lance, they made a huge mistake.
Are you saying Trey Lance can't play in the NFL?
That's not what I'm saying, Skip. I'm saying for San Francisco, the 49ers, and Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch and company, Trey Lance doesn't fit what they want to do. They thought he would. They said no.
Could he fit what we want to do?
He might be able to.
He might.
He might be able to do it for you, Atlanta, any of these teams that's looking for quarterbacks. He may be able to do it for New Orleans. You don't know, but he didn't do it for San Francisco. So what they said is we're getting rid of our mistake. We're going to get rid of our mistake the same way.
Well, they had a plan B because they're not getting rid of it.
Their plan B worked out.
Did it?
As of right now, it worked out, which is they're in the playoffs. They got the number 1 seed, and they're moving forward. They were the NFC Championship game with the plan B from a year ago. Now you say, well, is that the furthest they're going to go? Can they win it all with Brock Purdy? And if they win it all with Brock Purdy, then they're right about the move.
Okay, who's the better quarterback, Jordan Love or Brock Purdy? Who would you take going forward?
Who would I take? Where am I at?
Anywhere, just in a vacuum.
I'm going to take, me personally, probably going to take Jordan Love.
I'm taking Jordan Love.
And that's because I think Jordan Love is a better athlete.
I do too.
And has more tools than Brock Purdy, but doesn't mean Brock Purdy's not good for the 49ers.
Yeah.
But I don't know that Brock Purdy's transfers to everybody's systems and what they want to do. I just don't know. But I think Jordan Love could.
You know what? I think the 49ers are going to have to bring their A game to win this game. That's what I think.
Yeah.
You don't think so? You think it's a rout?
I don't know that it'll be a rout. They're going to be in a dogfight. Richard almost had me feeling like I need to pick the Green Bay Packers yesterday when he was talking kind of wild. You know, talking wild as Richard does with all his ex-teams. But I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we got to tomorrow to make that decision.
I'm starting to lean Green Bay. I'm becoming a Packer fan.
You
Forgive me, Wayne. I can't help myself.
You want to lean Green Bay because what San Francisco did to y'all. I get
that is a fact. I need Green Bay to go win the Super Bowl like scoring 48 on Baltimore, and then it would take some of the shame out.
But they beat the dog out of y'all, too. Green Bay and the 49ers opened up a can.
Well, why wasn't Mike McCarthy fired then? So here's the question. Can you ever see McCarthy and Dak winning a Super Bowl together in Dallas?
No mercy, no mercy, no mercy.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.